Hi, everybody. Most of you will all know Nicola Wilson, who's one of the world's best three-day event riders, gaining numerous medals for Great Britain at the Olympic Games, World European Championships, as well as becoming European champion. That's right, isn't it, Nicola? Yeah, in
Yes.
2021. Now, poor Nicola suffered a horrendous fall at badminton last year. Which devastatingly ended her eventing career. Now, Nicola, thank you so much for having a chat today.
Well, thank you for asking me along.
Oh no, well, it's
Whilst
great.
whilst I've got my leg up on sick bay, honestly, some
Oh
people
dear.
just
Poor
need
you.
maximum time recovery, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Can you explain to the membership what happened in May last year for those who don't follow the sport?
Well, we'd finished the season of 2021 fantastically well. We'd had an amazing year, lots of wins at top level, and as you quite rightly said, JLL Dublin and I became helped the team get team gold, but we got individual gold as well. So it was a really exciting time, and the winter was full of hope. And we went to Badminton for his first time at 5-star level, full of excitement and hope and hopefully and dreams. Anyway, it wasn't meant to be. We set off, we did a super dressage, and he gave me the most amazing ride cross country. He just felt as if he was just eating it up. He made it feel like a pony club track, and he was on his minute markers. He was galloping really well. He felt full of energy, and at that lovely moment where you've got not that many fences left, and you make a turn after one of the fences when you come back up the park towards the lake at Badminton. You give the horses a little squeeze and you think, oh, brilliant, I've got loads left. This is a great feeling. And then we jumped another fence. We were on our minute markers, and then it all went horribly wrong for us. And we all know the dangers associated with eventing. We'd be fools not to be aware of the risks, but it was just one of those unfortunate things, and it all just went horribly wrong for Dublin and I. It was a fence that had an A, B and a C. We jumped A and B nicely. I know he got a little bit close to the B. I sat up, put my hands down, supported him with my leg just so that he would compress his stride a little bit, and he jumped the B element beautifully. And then it was an angled, you had to jump the C on an angle. I was aware of jumping A and B, and I was not aware of jumping C or taking off for C at all. And I think apparently he got his boots stuck on the fence on the way up, which then brought him down because we were jumping it on an angle. And I was conscious on the ground. I was aware that where I was, and I just felt as if I was winded. Because I couldn't breathe. And you know that feeling when you're winded on the ground, you sort of think, well, it'll come in a minute. And I was aware that there was somebody kneeling down next to me, and I was trying to say, I'm winded, thinking, I can't breathe, thinking it would come through eventually. But the reason that I couldn't breathe was actually I was paralyzed from my neck down over, and it was the hyperextension of my neck. Apparently between the spinal cord and the vertebrae there is a ligament, and that ligament had doubled over and gone into my spinal cord, which had very fortunately for me, as it happens, was an incomplete injury to my spinal cord, which means that yes, I will always have impaired, and I will always have damage of all four limbs, but a complete injury means exactly that. If I had a complete injury from my neck down over, then that would be me, no movement, no feeling, in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. So I consider myself extremely lucky that mine was an incomplete injury to my spinal cord. And I thought a few years ago when I did fracture my neck, I thought really that was quite bad enough, but this was considerably worse. And the medical team at Badminton were absolutely amazing. Obviously when having not been winded and everything being paralyzed and nothing working, once I ran out of the air that was circulating through my veins and everything, then that was it, game over. And for a short time, until I came round in the medical tent at Badminton, and there was clearly nothing wrong with my tongue, because at that point I knew I couldn't feel anything from my neck down over. My toes wiggled a little bit, and I had absolutely no feeling, no movement, no nothing, and I knew it was pretty serious. And I think I announced my retirement there and then, and checked on Dublin. How was Dublin? He was fine. Checked on the dogs, because I knew they were in the horse box. And
yes.
Tipple had just had puppies, so one of the puppies, the remaining puppy, was with us, and she would desperately be needing to be out to spend a penny. And you sort of, you go through the list of important things, don't you? And
yes.
So that was exactly what I was doing in the few minutes that I was apparently in the medical tent before going to Southmead Bristol Hospital in intensive care for 3.5 weeks there, and they were absolutely unbelievably fantastic. And I'm so grateful to everybody that has helped put me on this road to recovery, wherever that recovery takes me. I just feel incredibly fortunate and lucky that, when you're laid flat out on the bed and you're being helped to breathe and you can't feel anything, and you're just grateful, you pray that you can have a quality of life, that you can stand on your feet, and that actually you can earn a living. And they were my three. I was just hoping that I could have those three things, and that I do have, and I am incredibly grateful. It changes the perspective on life considerably, and I feel incredibly fortunate, and grateful and lucky for that.
Well, you're incredibly brave, and it must have been utterly terrifying.
I think terrifying, more so for the people around you, your loved ones.
Yeah.
Dear Alistair, everybody came running over, and dear Alistair, my husband, he thought I'd gone, and he gave me a kiss on my forehead and said he loved me, and he thought that was that. And for me, that obviously I wasn't aware of that. And you're living through the horrors of it, but you are the person that's being cared for fantastically well, and actually it's your loved ones that have no idea how you feel, or how do they feel. I mean, it's life-changing for them as well, and it's horrid. It's absolutely horrid, if not probably worse for them, I think. The not knowing and the not being able to do anything to help or ease the situation, and they're hurting as well, aren't they?
Of course.
They're sort of grieving in a very different way.
And Nick, what did the experts give you a sort of prognosis in the early days?
Well, with spinal cord injuries, they do what is called an ASIA test. So, and everybody that would be sort of without spinal cord injuries would be perhaps a level E ASIA test. And those with severe spinal cord injuries would be an A, as in A, B. So my initial ASIA test was a C, because I could feel little bits on my legs, and I could move a little bit of my legs, but I couldn't feel or move anything from my waist up over. So I was an ASIA C, and by the time I left hospital, I was an ASIA D. So that would be where I currently am. I will not improve from an ASIA D, but I am very fortunate that my legs do work, and they are. I had to relearn how to do everything. The communication and the lines of communication from your brain to your body is completely disturbed. It's not working. So little basic things like moving a leg. Well, how do you do that? Things that you do instinctively, or when eventually I started to get the little bit of movement back in my arms and my hands, how do you brush your teeth? How do you get a fork from the plate up to your mouth to feed you? You don't realize how many different movements are involved that you do automatically, that you learn as a child, basically. So this injury has very much taken me back to being like a toddler. However, I don't remember those days. But I am, like loss of balance, or not being able to use you haven't got the dexterity in my hands. and relearning how to do everything.
Yes.
Has been frustrating and a big challenge. But every little thing is a win, isn't it? And
It
for
is. It
a
is.
competitive person, you take those wins,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you think, great, win to Nicola.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. We've
Yeah.
had another win
Exactly.
today.
Exactly.
Even if it is just that you actually moved a finger, or you felt something, or you've just got to take those as little wins, and they're little motivations along the way to spur you on and to stay
Yeah.
positive and think, actually, everything slows down, everything is of tiny increments, but you have to take those as big wins.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you, I mean, obviously, you're still navigating through a very tough journey. But is there a certain time in the last sort of, I suppose it's 18 months, isn't it now, that you feel there's been a bit of a turning point for you physically and mentally, sort of coming to terms with your new path in life?
I think, bizarrely enough, I came to terms with it, with retiring from the sport anyway, almost immediately. I have no idea how or why, but I seem
You've
to
done
do that.
everything. You have been brilliant and
Well,
achieved
there's so
everything,
much
which
more
might
that I
help me.
wanted to achieve and perhaps could have done, and X, Y, and Z. But equally, I've been very, very lucky, and I have, had some lovely owners and horses, and the sport's been very good to me, and continued to be incredibly good to me since my accident. In support, be it just emotional, or just at the other end of the telephone, and people within the we say the eventing community is it's a family, and that really has been has shone through, and helps you stay positive, which I think when you're dealing with life's ups and downs, to try and remain positive has to be the easiest and best way to navigate it, and with the right people around you, it makes it so much easier. But I think throughout that last 18 months, there's been quite a lot of big milestones, being able to feel your legs or move a leg, or be able to move the leg quite quickly as if you were giving a kick. That was like brilliant. Surely those legs are going to be able to serve me well at some point. And then when you first start to move a finger, or move an arm, or you are able to feel somebody touching you on the shoulder, or be able to get to scratch your chin, because you can bet your bottom dollar wherever you can't reach is where the itch is going to be. So there, and then the itch would be my nose, and then it'd be my forehead, and then it would be as I was able to do more and more. But I think there was big milestones all the way. And then the first time that they got me up on my feet was massive. I think I passed out quite dramatically, but and when I came round, there was about 6 physios all staring down at me in the physio room, and I was like, oh no, what horse have I fallen off now?
Oh no.
And I was like, oh no, original fall, and I'm still in hospital. So it's sort of and then when you're able to stand on your own 2 feet with the crutches and walk with people around you, and you relearn, that's a massive milestone. And then coming out of hospital and losing the security of the hospital, which again,
That
all the
must
way
have been
through,
tough, actually.
yes, and all the way through your life, you have a really lovely team around you, be it the girls on the yards, your owners, your support team at home, or wider field, as in the British team. And I've always enjoyed being part of a team. That's really been important to me. I was the lucky one that rode and competed and maybe trained the horses, but the team was really special to me. And then when I was in the hospitals, they became my team, and to lose them was quite daunting and scary. And and Alistair had put a ramp. I was in a wheelchair, and Alistair had put a ramp up into the house, and various places. He'd taken door frames off doors so that wheelchair would go through. We got the BE Support Trust funded a stair lift so that I could get upstairs, and have the wheelchair up there, and it was just such massive steps all the way, but to be at home was really exciting, but also really daunting. And then bit by bit you sort of get a little bit more mobility, a little bit more confidence, a little bit more strength, start working with neurophysios outside the hospital, who are a massive source of support, but also they're going through it with people sort of every single day, and they know the road that everybody is on, and they would have, although they wouldn't fill you with false hope, they sort of say, oh, don't worry, that will be the last thing to come. And and actually I have been on that road, and it has given me confidence and positivity, which has been great. And then I always sort of wanted to sort of start teaching again, and started to do that after Christmas, but I knew that I'd be pretty useless, as in I'd have to just sit there, I wouldn't be able to move around. But everybody was being so supportive and fantastic, and I had my little earpieces that then we could communicate, and I could teach and be a part of somebody's journey. And I really enjoyed that, seeing the horses, being helping them work together and see them progress was massive for me. And it made me feel more normal again.
Sure,
it takes you away from where you've been for the last, I don't know how many months, and it made you feel just that little bit more normal. And then as time has progressed, I was able to do a bit more and a bit more. But I always said if people that came for lessons could come with somebody that would be able to do the jumps, then and each week people would say, gosh, you're so much better than last week. And it was just and then to be able to drive again was massive. And
I bet that was a huge milestone, because just having your independence is being able to go from
is crucial.
Go and get something, whatever. But
yes, it is. I mean, getting in and out of the car is not very easy, and then negotiating your way through places, and even being able to pay on your phone, double clicking the phone, is something that I can't really do. So, but everybody's so helpful. If they see you struggling, they'll double click your phone for you, they'll help you with your bag, or they'll people are generally kind, and want to help. And Alistair's been amazing in the whole journey of supporting and remaining positive, and dealing with the whole situation that neither of us signed up for, but it's just life, it's the way it is, and we have to deal with it and move on in the best possible way that we can.
Well, Alistair, so I mean, obviously Alistair's been a huge part of your journey to recovery. How important has it been to have Alistair through your journey? And can you sort of offer any tips perhaps for anyone else going through a similar situation?
I think and I slightly alluded to it earlier when the fall happened. I think the patient, as in me, or the person going through the crisis, is generally the most well looked after person. All the eyes are on them, all the attention, they are getting absolutely everything that can possibly happen, be done to them. And I think it's really important to remember the loved ones around that, that they are going through. Alistair, for example, once I moved out of Southmead, where I was in intensive care for 3.5 weeks, I then went to the spinal unit at James Cook in the north at Middlesbrough, and I'd been on bed. I wasn't allowed to. Well, I couldn't move anyway, but I was flat out on bed whilst I was in James. And then when I moved up to James Cook, I thought, brilliant, I'm in the spinal unit now, I can get working, I can go to the physio, I can get better, and you feel that surely the hard work that you put in, you'll reap the rewards. But no, I had to stay flat for 6 weeks, which was difficult to cope with. But then Alistair was traveling, daily to see me and spending all day with me. But there was also still the horses in the yard, and the girls on the yard at home, and owners, and nobody quite really knowing what was going on or what they should be doing, or and the girls were fantastic. But Alistair had to deal with with his wife in the situation I was in,
Yeah.
you know, the business still to be run at home, and actually horses needed to go and find different riders. You know, it wasn't fair for the owners. I was not going to be able to get back to riding or anything, you know, competing the horses. So the owners, you know, they need to stay in love with the sport and enjoy the sport at the level, at the top level. So then that was sort of trying to help negotiate, you know, help work out where the horses were going. A lot to sort out, and selling of some horses, and reassuring the girls, because suddenly that worked for you, because suddenly, you know, what is their future? They thought their future was with us. We always had such a friendly, family-like setup here, and suddenly, you know, they're almost grieving as well, and don't know where their future is, and it's that uncertainty. So we had a great deal to deal with, and I think it's important to remember that the friends and family that are going through it probably could do with quite a bit of support as well. You know, a couple of owners sent food parcels to begin with whilst I was in hospital. They sent them to Alistair, meals for one, that he could just come home from hospital and pop in the oven, and it was just amazing. And then when I came home, they changed to meals for two. You know, just so thoughtful that. And there was lots of situations like that were, you know, just so kind and so thoughtful.
Yeah. Oh God, it must just be so tough. And okay, so moving on to the
yes, it is tough, but you know, I was still the same person.
Yeah.
You know, no more wiser, no less clever than I was. And you know, at least when we were chatting and talking, you know, he was talking to still his wife, and it was me, and I think that's massive. Yes, from the neck down over would be different, but you know, I was still fundamentally
having everything in your brain. I think
yes, I'm
really
sure still very annoying at times, and hopefully okay at times, but you know, I was still me.
Sure, you're lovely all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So tell us a bit about the British Eventing Support Trust. They've played a huge part in supporting you since your accident. Is it right? You're patron now of the trust.
It is, both Alistair and I are actually.
It
was set up in 2021, and actually Alistair and I went to a dinner a fundraising dinner at Thorsby Horse Trials in March of 2022. So you know, a few months literally before my fall. And you know, we thought it was really lovely that there was a charity supporting our sport, because you know, things do go wrong, and it is a tough way of life. Life is tough anyway, never mind with horses that 1 minute are being brilliant and the next minute are lame or loss of performance, and it is a hard sport, as much as it is absolutely fabulous and I love it. You know, it is difficult, and it's been amazing. I thought it was such a fantastic charity to be involved with supporting event riders, both physical and mental injuries. And then I never once thought that only a few months later they would be ringing Alistair up and saying, you know, we're here for you. Is there anything that we can do? And just that friendly person on the end of the telephone to Alistair was really timely. It meant an awful lot. And you know, they've helped out tremendously with the stair lift, being able to get up and down stairs, with being able to, you know, have really good neurophysio. Originally I was going to the neurophysio 4 times a week, and they're experts in the field, and they, as I said before, you know, they've been enormous and massive in my road to recovery, and wherever it'll take me, I don't know, but you know, I'm prepared to work hard and put in as much as I can to try and be as good as I can going forward.
Well, I think when I last saw you, I think in May this year at Badminton, I can see a massive improvement in all your arm movement.
Yes, movement.
Huge improvement.
Yes.
Is it sort of likely to I mean, that it will keep on improving.
If it will keep on improving. I'm now going to the gym,
Yeah,
so I've got a program at the gym, which is great. And there's things that I'm not allowed to do, and there's things that typical me. I said I'm so excited about going to the gym. I said, can I go on and she texts back saying you're weird. And then
has the novelty worn off yet?
then when I got there, I said, can we go on the treadmill? Because we had Alistair and the neurophysio. I said, can I go on the treadmill? She said, yes, you can. And I said, can I try and run? She said, no, absolutely not. So yes, I've got work to do on her, I think.
Has
But
the
getting
novelty
back to
worn
the
off?
Bee Support Trust, they are helping so many people, and it's a fantastic charity. And when they asked Alistair and I to become patrons, it was a great honour and pleasure to be involved in a charity that's helping so many people within our sport that find themselves suddenly in a difficult situation. And it's amazing to be able to pick up that phone and just say, is there anything you can do? And they are brilliant.
Oh, that's so good. And Nick, because the amount of teaching that you've, obviously you taught before, but has the way you teach changed in the last year? Have you had to sort of adapt the way you teach? I mean, I suppose we touched on it a bit earlier with lessons, not being able to do the jumps and whatever and move around so much.
Yeah.
But would you say you're sort of enjoying it more now?
I've always enjoyed teaching, and at some point I knew that my competition career would come to an end, and then hopefully I would do more and more teaching. So I'd already got my level 3 coaching certificate through BE. With that in mind, it just came a little bit sooner than and a little bit more dramatic perhaps than I'd ever anticipated. I've always enjoyed coaching. I've always enjoyed working with horses and riders, and I wanted to, if I could help in a small way somebody achieve their dreams, as so many other fantastic coaches have helped me achieve my dreams, then that's what really thrills me. It gives me such excitement, and I've really found that although you'll never be able to replace the thrill of competing at top level yourself, it is really exciting being able to help in a small way and getting to know the horses and riders, and support them in a little way, and I'm really enjoying that. And when I first started to teach again, as you said, in January of this year, yes, I wasn't able to do very much, but as time has gone on, I've got stronger and more able. And I've also got the fantastic Buttercup, who was the late Lady Swinton, and she was paralysed in a point-to-point fall back in 1980 something. I think I should find out the proper details and be accurate, but she sadly passed away this year, and her daughter rang Alistair and asked whether I could make use of this of her tramper, and originally I thought, no, I'm going to be able to be strong enough, I'm going to be able to walk, I'm going to be able to do this myself. Excuse me. But actually, oh my goodness, it has been a game changer, because I don't know whether you've seen the yellow tramper charging around the place, but it makes my life so much more possible and achievable, that I can get about. So when I'm training at home, I could be schooling horses with the show jumps, or we could go onto the grass and I could whiz over in Buttercup, and she's yellow, so that's why she's called Buttercup.
Brilliant name.
In the grass arena, or then we can go and train cross country, and I'm not exhausted because I've managed
to exhausting, isn't it?
So I can really put all my energies into the training and the coaching, and it's just been a complete game changer. And at events as well, getting about there, and she's got her own trailer, so she gets put onto the trailer, and away we go. And I never thought I'd be so excited and proud to have a mobility scooter, but it's an absolute game changer.
Well, everything, it is just, I mean, these events, everything can be miles away from each other, can't it?
Absolutely. And there's no way that I'd be able to this year be able to do it, and I'd be stuck at home, probably feeling very miserable. But because of this and the help of everybody within the sport and my close loved ones here at home, have made it so much more possible to probably achieve more than I perhaps should have been able to have done.
Wow,
And there's
so good.
absolutely no way I could have done any of this on my own. And I hope that I can carry on pushing and pushing and pushing. And yes, when we saw New Year in this year, you know, friends sort of said, "Oh, Happy New Year!" and it's so exciting. You know, you've got a big year ahead of you and where it's going to take you. And I just thought, oh, I just want to miss this year out, to be honest. And I want to fast forward to 2024 and see where we are. But oh my goodness, this year has been it's been such a full year of you know, milestones, of people that have just been amazing, of things that have happened, and also started to carve out a little bit of a future that you were so terrified that you might not have.
Yeah.
And whilst it's still a little uncertain, I feel really lucky that I've had this year to start to work out where I fit into the world, really.
Yes. Yeah.
And how I can go about my tasks, and hopefully my you know, it takes me half an hour to get dressed on a morning and brush my teeth and get myself downstairs. I feel as if I've done a marathon. There is no mobility scooter that can help me with that, but you know, hopefully it'll all
get
start
better,
to get
I'm
a little bit
sure.
easier. And you know, you find little techniques, don't you, that
Yeah.
help you. Elastic shoelaces or a shoehorn is a marvelous thing because it helps you put your shoe on, but it can also do many other things as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just find a way through trying to make life a little easier for yourself, and that would be the same with everybody.
Well, I'm sure bit by bit it'll all get quicker, gradually get quicker. Everything will become easier, I'm sure, as time goes on.
Yeah,
Sure
and
it will.
it's been lovely this year having Kim Cecilia, an American girl, come and base with us. It's been lovely having that yard full and busy again, and horses' heads over the stable door, and just like the excitement of people working towards events and dreams. And that was really lovely. It's quite a stark reminder when it's empty. She's now gone back to America to set up on her own, having had a great season here. So now it would be lovely if somebody else would perhaps want to come and base themselves with us in the north of England, in North Yorkshire. Fantastic place, but use the facilities that we've spent years, you know, setting up, and a system that has worked for us so successfully for a number of years. And it would just be lovely to have that life back in the yard, and we're here for support if you know, if they want it, or as much as they want.
I can't think of anywhere better to base yourself. I'd do it if I wasn't married with 3 children.
Yes, it's
an amazing opportunity.
The facilities are here. It seems a shame not to use them, but
absolutely,
we'll, step by step, we'll hopefully get up and running.
I'm sure you will. And Nick, you've got such vast experience and knowledge that you can pass on to other riders, obviously. Have you ever thought about wanting to be, I don't know, team trainer, manager?
Now you're
hopefully Great Britain.
Very high, aren't you? Crikey! Now, I said you're setting the bar very high, aren't you?
Well, I think you would be utterly brilliant, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who would agree with me.
Well, I think life is about having dreams, isn't it? And working hard, and we all fail, and I have to work that a little bit harder and see whether we can achieve those dreams. I had childhood dreams with my riding, and I was so lucky to fulfill them. And now I have to start all over with my dreams as a coach, and we'll see where my dreams take me.
Wow, you'd be a huge
I will work hard and see what happens. But I'm just so grateful. We've had so many lovely mentors along my riding career, and now going into the next chapter. It's yes, having other mentors to help you. You've got to think of it as exciting, and it is exciting. I'm grateful that it is something that hopefully I can do, and I just want to do the best that I possibly can, and be the best coach, the best person that I can be.
Well, you will be,
while still being involved in our fabulous sport, which you know,
such a great sport, isn't it? And I mean, I wonder whether the sort of eventing family, I can't really think of many other sports, or any other sports, perhaps national hunt racing, but you know, there is such a sort of family. Everyone really cares about each other. and it's such a lovely community, and everyone wants to help. You know, a lot of sports people are, you know, you're competitive. Obviously, everyone's, you know, trying to be the best they can, but it's not got that. We all, you know, everyone cares about each other. And I think the ups and downs make everyone much more.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head there with the ups and downs, haven't you? Everybody works really hard, and they know how hard it is and difficult it is to get to the top of the sport and then to stay there, you know. And if somebody's having it's their time to be fabulous and everything's going great for them, then you're delighted for them, because you know that, you know, that just around the corner there'll be a bumpy bit in the road, and then there'll be a way again, and you know, it's just part of the journey. And you know, everybody works so hard and rides the waves, and deserves their success when it comes their way.
Yeah. So your wonderful horses, JL Dublin, and I mean, we've got lots of lovely horses, but Cool Park Sarko they are now competing with Tom McEwen and Piggy March. They had a great result at Po last weekend. I hope you feel a huge sense of pride in making both those horses such top class horses, although I'm sure it must be really hard watching.
It's strangely enough, because not one part of my body is able to even hand graze a horse, because without feeling vulnerable, or you know, if they were to pull back, they would just pull me over. I haven't got that sort of instinct to let go of the lead rope or anything like that. So now, whether that helps me deal and cope with not riding those horses anymore, I'm not sure. But something, because of my lack of being able to do anything like that, my vulnerabilities, I suppose, then I am coping with that incredibly well. And all the riders have been so brilliant at keeping me updated, or they've been so kind in their comments. And the horses, you just desperately want the horses to go well. You desperately want the owners to stay in love with the sport and enjoy the sport that we had enjoyed together. And Dublin, yes, we had Dublin as a 4-year-old, and we had such a lovely partnership. And he, you know, and he grew up here and he got to top level, and Tom's then taken him on to the next level and doing so amazingly well. And you know, there's a couple of times this year and you think, oh, and you feel so sorry that it didn't quite work out as you'd prayed, but then to finish, you know, at Po on such a high, you know, he's continued to take Dublin on to that next level. He's looking stronger, and it's really exciting, their partnership developing. And he's such a lovely rider and person, and so kind, that you know, it's exciting supporting them. And I am would be their top fans. And the same with Piggy, you know. Cool Park Sarko, when I was actually in the medical tent at Badminton, I said that we needed to get Jeremy, who's called at home, to Piggy, because I knew that he was in really good shape. He was ready mentally and physically to go to Bramham and do really well. I just felt it was there, and I felt he needed to get to Piggy as soon as possible. ASAP, so that they only had 5 weeks, but so they could form that partnership and go and do really well. And also, you know, just rewinding to 2012, when I was really lucky to go to London, I was actually first reserve. I wasn't actually selected, you know, and whilst perhaps I thought I would be selected the first time round, I wasn't. And that was a hard pill to take. But it was because Piggy's horse went lame that I got to go with Opposition Buzz to London. Now, that was a life experience that I am so incredibly grateful that I had. Now, Cool Park Sarko is a beautiful horse, as is Dublin, as are a lot of the horses that I had at the end of my career, are good enough for top level championships and results. But wouldn't it just be the fairy tale if, I might cry here, but wouldn't it be the fairy tale if Jeremy was able to, you know, you know what I'm going to say?
Oh, It would be amazing. Oh, you're gonna make me cry now.
Sorry.
It would be
I'm a
amazing.
soppy old thing, aren't I?
Oh,
But I just
no,
thought,
it
wouldn't
would be
it just be
absolute
amazing?
fairy tale.
And ultimately, the horses aren't mine. I was the lucky one that trained them, and the girls on the yard. You know, I always said you've got to put a little wall around your heart and protect yourself, because
Yeah.
yes, we feel as if the horses are ours, but they're not. And at any point, they might go, or something might happen, and you know, and you've got to prepare yourself for this moment. And I suppose all my life I was preparing myself for this moment, and I'm really enjoying watching all of the horses, be it the the 5-6 year olds, all the way up to Jeremy and Dublin, doing so brilliantly with Piggy and Tom at Poe. It's really lovely, and I am very proud, and I'm delighted for the owners, and delighted for the riders who are all producing them and carrying on with their training and taking them to the next level, and that is wonderful to see.
That's really wonderful. Nick, the silent auction, which is taking place, so the ball is on
Yes,
the I think it's the 18th of
18th of November.
Yeah, there are still tickets apparently. Anyone who's listening, still tickets left. But there's a silent auction, and some amazing auction lots. One of which is a couple of days with you at your yard, sort of a couple of days of intense teaching and advice and words of wisdom from you.
Well, yeah, let's hope. But no, it's just,
so
yes,
yeah,
I just
people
thought
need
it
to
was
get on them.
an opportunity that if somebody wanted to bring a couple of horses or 2 riders and a horse each, come and stay here, stable overnight, we could tailor their training to whatever they wanted to get out of their couple of days here. If they wanted to bring videos, we could watch through their training sessions, we could watch through competition, we could help with planning for their competition season, and just, you know, generally ask if there's anything that they wanted to discuss, and but make it very much what they wanted to get out of their couple of days training here. And Alistair and I would welcome them with open arms, and would love to have them here. So we look forward to hopefully somebody wanting to purchase the lot, and while supporting a fantastic cause in the BE Support Trust, which undoubtedly has helped me to this date enormously, and also you know, the girls on the yard, you know, giving them a little bit of emotional support, just telephone call, or you know, it's to everybody, isn't it? But it's a superb charity, and I think they are just launching the more mental side of the support that they are doing with the charity as well, at the ball shortly. So we look forward to seeing how the charity is developing, and lots of exciting initiatives as well. So
no, it's really exciting. It's amazing the work they do, isn't it? Nick, thank you so much for your time today, particularly as you've just had an operation and are probably feeling full of anaesthetic still, and it's all exhausting having to do this after just coming out of hospital. So thank you so much, and you're doing amazingly.
Thank you for asking me. It's a great honour and a privilege, and it's been very easy just sitting here with my foot up, resting. So so thank you very much.
I hope you can have some nice lunch now. Hopefully,
my crutches.
Oh God,
crutches and my balance not very good at the moment. But anyway, we'll find our way through it, won't we? Yeah. It's only another small hurdle that needs overcoming, and hopefully I'll be better for it.
You will. Thank you so much.